our next speaker, who is Elizabeth Bachman, the Star Maker. And she's going to be sharing 3 big presentation mistakes that cost you sales and what you can do about them. So I'm sure you're going to get a lot of juicy tidbits from her in this next speech. She is a speaker, author, and trainer. Elizabeth Bachman is known as the Star Maker for speakers. She is passionate about helping people shine on any stage, using her 30 years of experience as an international opera director, directing such luminaries as Luciano Pavarotti. Yep, she told him what to do. And Placido Domingo. Awesome. She helps business professionals, authors, and speakers to learn how to stand in your power, find a unique voice, close more sales, and become known as the star you are. Please welcome Elizabeth Bachman. Woo!
Thank you. So there was this guy, and he had a big presentation to do, and he was really nervous. He was a fairly experienced speaker. He really knew his material, but he thought, am I going to be okay? You know, will they still love me? Whatever. But then he thought, it's not that hard. I've pulled it off before. I don't need help. I can do this. And yeah, you know this one, right? Oh yeah, I could do this. But he was still worried. So he waited, and he worried, and he worried, and he waited. And finally, the night before the presentation was over, before it was going to happen, he called me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, thank you very much, because he couldn't sleep, so why should I, right? He was lying awake. He called me up and he said, hello, I can't do this alone, I need your help. So we met the next day, and since the presentation was that night, I just gave him 3 things to do. 2 of them had to do with the way he was delivering the speech, and the third was a gesture he was doing that was sabotaging him, and he didn't realize it. And that night, I got to watch him walk out on stage and nail it. He was great. He was so wonderful. It was a packed house. The audience rose to their feet in a standing ovation, and the expression on his face as he stood there and took in the applause made me smile so hard my cheeks hurt. This is why I do what I do. That guy was Luciano Pavarotti, singing the role of Radames in Aida at the Metropolitan Opera. So as you heard, I'm international opera director, international presentation skills trainer, creator of Mastering a Signature Speech That Sells. And I'm really only here because I have made so many mistakes. And my hope is today that I can help you learn from some of the mistakes that I've made. You'll make your own, that'll be fine, but maybe they won't be so bad. And I've given you a piece of paper that's got a star on it, a blue star, little branding, thank you. A blue star on it so that you can take notes and write these down. And I do recommend that you write them down because I'm sharing with you tips that have saved me thousands of dollars and have also cost me thousands of dollars when I forgot them. However, before we get there, I'd like to tell you how I learned all of this and what made me who I am and what I am today. May I? Yeah. So I've been dedicated to the art of great communication since I first walked on stage at the age of 5. And my mom said I was the best damn bunny rabbit that ever graced the stage of the Hillside School. And I was hooked. That was it. As an actor, then as a director, then as an opera director, and now as a presentation skills trainer for business professionals, it's been all about helping people communicate their message in the most powerful and compelling way so that they reach the audience that they need. And about 16 years ago now, I got the opportunity to do something I always wanted to do, which was run a business of my own, run a company of my own. I was invited to bring opera singers to the Austrian Alps. And it's like, whoa, the hills are alive. I was going to spend the summer making music in the mountains. There was just this one teeny weeny little problem, which was I had to raise $100,000 to do it. To do that, I had to give speeches. And that was where I learned the difference between speaking to entertain and speaking to get people to open their wallets. I mean, entertaining I could do. You get me started on dirty jokes and we'll never go home. But you wouldn't think it from the sweet. But I know a lot of dirty jokes. Anyway, tangent, squirrel. The problem was that my first few mistakes, my first few speeches, my first fundraisers were not so great. I was terrified. And frankly, I was pretty terrible. I mean, you know how it is when you're giving your all on stage and they're all excited about the thing that you teach and the thing that you do, and then you get to the point where you ask for the money and their faces fall and they get polite. This is America, so people are polite. They don't turn their backs. And then they get up and they walk out with the credit card still in their pocket. Has anybody ever been there? Have you ever been there when you're looking at them and you know you're losing them, so you push even harder, and you know you're making it worse, and you still do it? I was really desperate. I didn't know what I was going to do. There were young people who had already signed up, who'd counting on me to help them realize their dreams. But there were staff who had contracts. I was expecting to get paid. And most of all, I told the world, I told everybody I knew I was going to do this. And has anybody here ever been in the position where it's a difference between, the difference between success and failure is the difference between massive success and total humiliation? Anybody else ever did that? What saved me was finding a mentor. A woman who was a speaker trainer. I didn't even know such a thing existed. She was a speaker trainer, came to one of my fundraisers and called me up the next day, and she said, you know, there are a few things you could do to increase your audience engagement and to get better results. And then she told me that I wasn't stupid, I wasn't wrong, I just didn't know what I didn't know. And I thought, I have to get help from someone who's been down this road before I have, and who's a little farther ahead of me on the path. I didn't know how I was going to afford it. I didn't really have the money to hire her, but I knew that my commitment to the people who needed me had to be greater than my fear. And so I found that money. I scraped it together and asked friends and found that money and hired her. And it was the best investment I could ever make. And I'll never forget the first time I walked in and I was asking somebody to give a donation, and I thought she was going to give me $100. And she wrote out a check and she said, here's $3,000. It's a full scholarship for someone. I believe in what you're doing. I hadn't even done the program yet. Those tips and tricks. So that's a little bit of what I'd like to teach you. And since then, that's what it's helping people step into their power and find their voice and then talk about it. Having to master a signature speech that actually sells is so important, because I see, the thing that breaks my heart is I see all the time that there are speakers out there and they're giving their all and they're talking all about it, and they're not getting the results they need, basically not getting the sales. And really the title of my program should be Mastering a Signature Speech that gets your audience inspired and engaged and makes them decide to invest in themselves by working through you. But that's really too long to fit on a flyer. So I just say mastering a signature speech that sells. And we've talked about money here, so I hope that's okay. So the three mistakes that I see. Third biggest mistake is your audience doesn't think, not being relevant to your audience. And what you should do, what I'd like you to write down is match your message to the room. I say that back to me, actually. Match your message to the room. It's part of what we were talking about earlier about finding the right place to know who your ideal clients are, where to find them, and then how to talk to them and give them what they want or what they think they want. It might not be what they need, but if they don't know that, if they don't know what they really need, you've got to give them what they want to get them in the door. Once they're working with you, you can give them what they need. The second biggest mistake is too much how, not enough why. Say that one back to me. Too much how, not enough. It is sales 101. Sell the benefit, not the features. Sell the sizzle, not the steak. And yet, we all do it. Raise your hand if you're an expert in what you do. Thank you. Actually, raise your hand if you are currently speaking to promote your business. Raise your hand if you're not speaking yet, but you're thinking about it. Okay. And raise your hand if you'd rather be tied up and dragged naked through the streets than a dressing group. Okay, so for you two and anybody else who really would like to be tied up and dragged naked through the streets, you are too chicken to say so. I do live in San Francisco. I've got some neighbors who can organize that for you. Maybe I should do a program with Gary about that. Relationships. But seriously, though, there are far too many speakers who are out there not getting the results they want. I book speakers for events. I talk to promoters all over the Bay Area, actually all over the world, internationally. And promoters are deluged with people who want to speak on their platforms, on their stages, on their shows. And yet, being able to inspire, educate, and close a sale, those speakers are few and far between. So it is my mission in life to help those of you become that kind of speaker. So the problem with too much how and not enough why is it's so easy to go off on a tangent and start talking all about what it is that you do. The way I like to think about it that stops me from doing that, because I am totally capable of doing that, is think of yourself that your job on a stage like this is not to teach people how to do what you teach. It's to teach them how to invest in themselves through you. It's to teach them how to buy from you, which means that you are a figure of hope. Say that back to me. I am a figure of hope. You are there for the person who's out there who needs you. And I truly believe that there are people who are only going to get it through you. There are lots of stylists and image consultants, but there are people who are only going to get it from Cassandra, for instance. There are lots of tarot readers out there people who are only going to understand how to heal through it by doing tarot in motion with Miriam, things like that. So it's you. It is a sale. Your whole speech is an offer. And your whole speech is about giving people the hope that they can solve their problem by investing in themselves through you. So, isn't that cool? We're not icky, salesy people. We're figures of hope. And the first biggest mistake is being bland or pushy. Anybody here ever seen a bland speaker? Anybody ever seen a pushy speaker? Anybody ever been that bland or pushy speaker? Yeah. The thing is, sales is like sex. It's another one, you can say that back to me. Sales is like sex, because nothing happens till somebody gets excited. Okay, you may steal it, but if you steal it, you better say that my friend Elizabeth says this. I steal Jill Lublin's stuff all the time. And I just say, as Jill Lublin says, and yeah. Sales is like sex. I just got all excited with pictures. Yes. Just credit it, you're good. I have a client, Mary, who she had great words. She's a writing coach, so her words were amazing. But when she got nervous, her voice would get very low and kind of in a monotone, and the shoulders would hitch up and she'd back up. So we worked on her delivery. We worked on how she delivered it. Because after all, only 7% of what people perceive about you comes from your words. The other 97% is who you are in the room. Your charisma, if you will. We worked on her delivery, and she wrote to me the other day and she said, oh my God, it was amazing. I only had 3 minutes on stage. I was really nervous because I wasn't allowed to make an offer. And I did what you told me. I used the tools you gave me. And my friends said they'd never seen me so grounded and so compelling. And best of all, after it, 8 people came up to my table at the back of the room and signed up for my introductory program. $8,000 in 3 minutes. So in order to do this, you have to have a system. And I'm going to go very quickly through the system that I like to use called the 5 Ps of star power presenting. Number 1 is being bland or pushy. Bland and pushy. Basically not having interesting delivery, and that's the thing that I really love to help people with because that's what I spent 30 plus years teaching opera singers how to do. So the first one is profit. We want to know, we figure out the strategy. This is how we solve the issue of matching your message to the room. Number 2 is patterns of speech. How do you talk about yourself? What are your key sales phrases? And how do you talk about yourself so that people know immediately who you are, what do you do, who you do it for, and how to send you business? Number 3 is pre-framing. Tell a story that will counter the objections. You all know the objections you get when you want to make a sale. Tell a story during your speech that will counter those objections, and that helps people remember. Number 4 is presence and projection. That's, again, the cure to being bland or pushy. It's how to have charisma. And number 5 is practice, because nobody plays Hamlet the first time they pick up the script. You are all amazing. These people I know, many of you I know, some of you I haven't met today. You really are incredible, and there are people out there who need you. So to paraphrase Mark Twain, the difference between an ordinary speaker and a superstar presenter is like the difference between the lightning bug and the lightning. So please, go out and be the lightning.
Are you a speaker looking to reach more people with your message? You have a global vision that you want to touch the world and make a global difference. If so, I have an amazing opportunity for you. It's called the Speaker Talent Search. Again, that's the speakertalentsearch.com. You'll find all the details, but here are the highlights. With one application process, you get clarity on your message. You get to fine-tune how you want to reach the world. Then you'll have everything ready in one place for the opportunities when they come. Second, we select you as a finalist. You get to come in and audition with a 7-minute audition, open up the door to hundreds of speaking opportunities. I hope you lean in. I hope you say yes. We would love to hear your message. Help you touch the world powerfully. Again, that's the speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your powerful message.